Hello everyone, welcome to today's video lecture where we will be exploring chapter 1 of microeconomics, limits, alternative and choices. I'm excited to delve into this subject with you, so let's get started. Let me give you a very brief overview of this chapter. In this chapter, we will explain the foundational concept of economics, covering a broad spectrum of ideas essential for understanding the disciplines. We will start by defining economics as the study of how societies manage scarce resources to satisfy unlimited needs and wants. From there, we will explore the economic perspective, which involves analyzing choices made by individuals, firms, and governments in world of scarcity. We will also trace the development of economic theories from its classical roots to modern application, emphasizing key thinkers and their contributions. We will also dive into practical applications of economic principle using tools such as a budget line and production possibility curves to illustrate how individuals and societies make decisions about allocating the resources. We will explore the economic growth, what drives it, its implications for standard of living, and how it measures. And finally, we will wrap up with the last word addressing common misconceptions the students often encounter in economic and how to avoid these pitfalls in thinking. I hope after this video lecture, you will having a solid grip and idea of the fundamental concepts in economics, laying a strong foundation for deeper exploration into a more complex economic theories and applications. So let's dive in and explore the fascinating world of economics together. Economics. Economics is a social science concerned with making optimal choices under condition of scarcity. Just imagine a hypothetical scenario where our desires and wants could be fulfilled without any limit, without any restrictions. In such a world, there would be no need for choices because everyone could have everything they wanted. However, reality presents a stark contrast. Scarcity exists because our wants, whether it's for goods, for services, for time, or resources, vastly exceeds our ability to produce or acquire them. Because of scarcity, we are constantly faced with choices, whether it's deciding how to spend our money, our income, allocate our time, or utilize the available resources. Every decision involves the trade offs. When we choose to spend money on one thing, we forego the opportunity to spend it on something else. This is known as the opportunity cost. So the choice we make are influenced by various factors such as our preferences, level of income, the price of the good and services, it can be societal values. So economists analyze these choices to understand how individual businesses and the government allocate the scarce resources effectively. Every choice we make has a ripple effects throughout the economy. Just for example, just attending this watching this lecture, that impact the economy because it may affects your educational attainments and it can later on potentially future earnings and even the in broader economic indicators like workforce productivity and economic growth. So understanding the concept of scarcity teach us the importance of making informed decisions. By evaluating our options and considering opportunity cost, we can make choices that maximize our well-being and contribute positively to the economy. The economic perspective. The economic perspective is essentially the lens through which the economists view the world. It involves several key principles such as scarcity and choice, opportunity cost, utility, and the marginal analysis. Like scarcity of resources. Economics begins with the recognition that resources, whether it's a natural, labor, or capital, or limited relative to the unlimited wants and desires of individual and society. So this scarcity necessitates choices and trade-offs. When we make the economic decisions, we must consider the opportunity cost, the value of the next best alternative that is foregone. For example, if you choose to spend money on vacations, the opportunity cost is the alternative use of that money, such as you can save that money to buy a mobile phone or to buy a car, or you can invest in a stocks. So economists assume that individuals, households, the businesses, and the government act purposefully to achieve their objectives. This behavior is driven by rational decision making, where choices are made to maximize utility or their satisfaction level. The marginal analysis, that's a central tool in economics. Analysis is the marginal. This involves evaluating the cost and the benefit of making incremental changes in an activity or decisions. So, so we having a two components, the marginal benefit and the marginal cost. The marginal benefit is an additional benefit gained from consuming one more unit of a good or services. For example, the marginal benefit of consuming an additional slice of pizza, that is the satisfaction or the utility derived from that slice. And on the other hand, the marginal cost, that's an additional cost in occurred from producing or consuming one more unit. This could include a monetary cost, or maybe it can be a time cost. For instance, the managerial cost of producing one more unit of product, that might include a cost of additional raw material that you require to produce an extra unit, or it can be an additional labor that you will hire to produce that additional extra item or extra unit. So economists always suggest that the individuals and the firm optimize their decisions by comparing the marginal benefit with the marginal cost. This is where they achieve. mm, Usually, the rational decisions will be continue an activity or increase the consumption until the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. This is where they achieve the equilibrium or maximize the utility or satisfaction. If we talk about its economic implication in economic analysis, the economic perspective and the marginal analysis are applied across various fields of economics, from microeconomics, where we are discussing the individual behavior and the markets, to macroeconomics, where we are discussing the national economies and global markets. They provide a systematic approach to understanding the complex economic phenomena and predicting the outcome of policy decisions. As we discussed in our previous slide, economic begins with the recognition that resources are limited, whether they are natural resources such as land and minerals, it can be a human resources like labor, or it can be a capital resources like machinery and infrastructure, but all are limited. This scarcity means that the society cannot fulfill all human wants and needs simultaneously. Scarcity is our fundamental conditions that drive economic behavior and decisions making at all levels, individuals, businesses, and the government. So the choices must be made because resources are scarce at the individual level and society level, so they must make the choices. Every decision we make every day, whether it's how to spend our money, how to allocate our time, how to utilize the available resources, it comes with the trade-off. So we have to choose a one action or one uh, uh, activity and we have to forgive the other one. So when we choose to pursue one option, we inheritedly forego the benefit of alternatives we didn't choose. This concept is known as opportunity cost. So the opportunity cost is the value of next best alternative foregone when a decision is made. It represents what you give up in order to choose something else. For example, if you decide to spend money on to buy a new smartphone, so the opportunity cost could be the vacations that you have taken with that money. So understanding the opportunity cost that helps individuals and businesses make informed and rational decisions by weighing the benefits and drawbacks of each options or each available options. And that's why we have a phrase in economics that there is no free lunch. So this phrase underscores the idea that in this world of scarcity, nothing is truly free. Even if something appears to be free, like a complementary services or a product, there are still costs involved somewhere along the line. Someone, somewhere, had to allocate the resources and make the sacrifices to provide that free items. Recognizing this principle help us understand the true cost and the value of goods and services in our economy. So these concepts are not just a theoretical concepts, they played out in our daily lives and in broader economy at the same time. From personal budgeting decisions to corporate strategy to the government policy making, understanding the scarcity, the choices, the opportunity cost, and the absence of free lunch guides how resources are allocated efficiently and how individuals and societies can maximize their well-being and the level of satisfaction. Purposeful behavior. So the rational self-interest is the principle that individuals act in a way that maximize their own satisfaction or utility. In economic terms, the utility refers to the personal benefit or satisfactions that individuals derive from consuming goods and services. Rational self-interest suggests that the individuals make decisions based on their preferences, desires, and their personal goals. This behavior is not necessarily selfish, but rather reflect the natural tendency and individuals to seek outcome that benefit them personally, giving their circumstances and constraints. Utility is central to understanding how individuals make the choices. It's a subjective measure. Subjective measures means that varies from person to person and can change based on the factors such as level of income, the preferences, and the social influence as well. So economists use utility theory to analyze the consumer behavior, predicting how individuals will allocate their limited resources like money and time to maximize their overall satisfaction. Understanding utility helps explain people make certain purchases, sorry, make certain purchases decisions from everyday goods to long-term investment in educational and other sectors. So at the firm's level, Firms and the profit. For firms, the basic objective for all the firms often revolves around profit maximization. Profit is a financial gain that earned when revenue from selling the goods or the services exceeds the cost of producing those goods and services. So the firms operate under the basic assumption of rational behavior, aiming to maximize the profit by optimizing production process, pricing strategies, and resource allocation. So, for the firms, profit serves as a crucial indicator of business success and sustainability, influencing the decisions on investment, expansions, and innovation within competitive market. So, the desired outcome in economics, the desired outcome for individuals, that is a utility maximization, and for the firms, that is a profit maximization. So for individuals, this might mean achieving the highest level of satisfaction possible given their budget constraint. For the firms, it involves generating the highest possible profit through efficient operations and strategic decision making. These outcomes are influenced by external factors such as market conditions, the government policies, technological advancements, and societal trends. So, if we talk about its implications, again, these concepts are very foundational in economic analysis. These concepts provide frameworks for understanding and predicting the behavior at both individual and organizational level. By applying these principles, we can evaluate the efficiency of markets, we can assess the consumer behavior, we can analyze the firm's performance, and we can recommend the measures that promote the economic growth and societal welfare. Marginal analysis. We slightly discussed in our previous slides the marginal analysis where we discussed the idea of the marginal benefit and the marginal cost. Basically, the marginal benefit that refers to the additional satisfaction or utility that a person receives from consuming one more unit of a good or services. It represents the extra value gained from an incremental increase in consumption or production. For example, if you are considering buy a second cup of coffee, the marginal benefit is the additional satisfaction or alertness that you expect to gain from that extra cup. That's a marginal benefit. And on the other hand, the marginal cost is the additional cost incurred by producing or consuming one more unit of a good or services. It includes both monetary cost and any other sacrifices or the trade-off made to obtain that additional unit. For instance, the marginal cost of producing an additional unit of product include the cost of additional raw material, the cost of extra labor, the potentially the opportunity cost of using those resources somewhere else. So all will be considered as a marginal cost. So the marginal, actually the marginal means is an extra or additional. In economic analysis, the term marginal refers to an extra, an additional unit. By comparing the marginal benefit and the marginal cost, individuals and the firms can make informed decisions about how to allocate resources effectively. The rational decisions making involves comparing the marginal benefit with the marginal cost. So simply you can say the economists suggest that the individual and the firms should continue an activity or increase the consumption of the goods and services until the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost. This principle helps to achieve an optional allocation of resources where the additional unit are only pursued if the benefit outweigh the cost. So simply we can, if we talk about the example, if you are a consumer, if you are a, I mean if you are a consumer deciding whether to buy a third pair of the shoes, you will consider the additional satisfaction. That's a marginal benefit versus the additional expense that you will pay to buy that pair of shoes. That's a marginal cost, and you have to decide accordingly. If the marginal benefit will be higher than the marginal cost, you will buy that. Otherwise, you will you will forego. So similarly, a businesses assessing whether to expand the production will evaluate the extra revenue from selling more units that lead to the marginal benefit and gain the extra cost of productions leading to the marginal cost that will determine the profitability. So in real world applications, these concepts are applied across various economic scenarios, from personal finance decisions to corporate strategy. Understanding the marginal benefit and marginal cost helps individuals and organizations maximize their satisfaction, the profitability, and efficiency in resource allocation. Economic principle, generalization. Economics often relies on generalizations to simplify the complex economic phenomena into a manageable principles and patterns. These generalizations help economists formulate the theories and the models that can be applied broadly. For example, the law of demand. The law of demand states that all else being equal, if the price of the good increases, the quantity demand will decrease. This generalization allows economists to predict the consumer behavior across different markets and the scenarios. And at the same, other things equal assumption, other things remain same. The other things equal assumption, that is also known as ceteris paribus in Latin, is a crucial concept in economic analysis. It suggests that when analyzing the relationship between two variables, all other factors or variables that could influence the relationship are held constant or unchanged. This assumption allows economists to isolate the effect of specific factors and understand their impact without the implication of other variables. So the ceteris paribus is directly related to the other things equal assumption, and it is used prominently in economic modeling and analysis. Graphical expressions, the graphical expression, that is a method economists use in visually represent economic relations and concepts. Graphs such as supply and demand curves, production possibility frontiers provide a clear and concise way of illustrate how changes in one variable affect the other variable. These graphs often use the axis, y-axis and x-axis, to plot the variables like price and quantity. In our examples in this book, we usually take the prices on y-axis and quantity on x-axis, showing the direction and magnitude of the relationship predicted by the economic theory. Micro and macroeconomics, both are the branches of economics. Microeconomics is the study of individuals' economic unit within an economy. It examines the behavior of individuals, households, firms, and industries. So the key concept in microeconomics includes the consumer behavior, so the firm's behavior and market behavior. The consumer behavior, the microeconomic analyze how individuals and households make the decisions regarding the consumption of goods and services based on preferences, incomes, and prices of those goods and services. At firms' behavior, it's the microeconomic studies how firms make production and pricing decisions to maximize their profit, considering the factors such as the cost of production, market competition, and technological advancements. On the other hand, the market behavior microeconomic investigates the interaction between buyers and the sellers in specific markets, exploring the concepts like supply and demand, the market equilibrium, and effects of government policies like taxes and subsidies on market outcomes. So the microeconomic helps us understand how individual choices and behavior shape the allocation of resources and functioning of market within an economy. Meanwhile, the macroeconomics in contrast focus on economy as a whole and aggregate of economic activity. It examines the broader trends and factors that influence the overall performance of the economy. So the key topics in macroeconomics that can be include aggregate output and income. So macroeconomics studies the total production and income generated within an economy over a time period. Usually we measure this through a gross domestic product. Famously it's called GDP, and we can call unemployment and inflation. It analyzes the labor market dynamics, unemployment rates, and the causes and the consequences of inflation, and as well as the economic growth. Macroeconomics also explore the factors that contribute to the long-term economic growth, such as technological progresses, investments in capital goods, and productivity improvements. At the same time, it also covers the fiscal and the monetary policies. So it examines how government policies such as fiscal policies and monetary policies influence the economic outcomes such as employment, inflation, and economic stability. So the macroeconomic provides insight into the overall performance of an economy, guiding the policymakers in formulating the strategies to achieve the sustainable growth, stability, and prosperity. While microeconomics and macroeconomics focuses on different level of analysis, they are interconnected. Both are interconnected, such as microeconomics decisions by individuals, consumers, and firms allocatively impact the macroeconomic variables such as national income, employment rate, and inflation. Similarly, the macroeconomic trends influence the behavior and the decisions of individual economic agents. So both are interlinked and impacting each other. Positive economics and normative economics. Positive economics focus on objective analysis based on empirical evidences and facts. It seeks to describe how the economy works and predict the consequences of specific economic actions or policies. So the key aspect of positive economic that includes the factual statements or descriptive and predictive statements. So I mean the positive economics deals with the statements that can be tested and verified through observations, can be tested through experiments or statistical analysis. These statements are about what is rather than what ought to be. So it aims to describe the economic phenomena as accurately as possible and make predictions about future economic outcomes based on the observed data and economic theories. So, for example, the example of positive economic analysis that include determining the impact of tax cut on consumer spendings. So analyzing the effect of interest rate, changes on investment, or studying the relationship between educational levels and income levels based on statistical data. All are providing on a factual data. So the positive economics provide a foundation for understanding economic behavior and outcome objectively free from personal basis or value judgments. Meanwhile, the normative economics, in contrast, involves economic statements that incorporate value judgments and subjective opinions about what should be or ought to be. It deals with issues of fairness, equity, and the societal welfares. So the key characteristics of the normative economics includes the value judgment, the prescriptives, such as the normative economics addresses the questions about what policies or actions are desirable or preferable based on ethical consideration or social norms or political beliefs. So it aims to recommend or advocate for specific economic policies, regulations, or intervention to achieve a certain societal goals or outcome that deemed beneficial. For example of normative economics analysis include arguing for or against raising the minimum wage to improve the economic equality, advocating for environmental regulations to reduce the pollution, or debating the merits or demerits of redistribution of tax policies. So the normative economics often involves the subjective interpretations and can vary based on individuals' perspective, the cultural norms, and ideological beliefs. Let me move to the economizing problem. The economizing problem reflect the fundamental challenges individuals, the household, the businesses, and the society face. How to make the choices in a world of scarcity. So we have a limited income and we have unlimited wants. So when we have a limited income, so it means resources such as income, money, time, and even the natural resources are limited, and it's a finite. So the individuals and organizations have constraints on how much they can earn, how much they can produce, or how much they can consume. So it's a limited resources. On the other hand, the needs and wants are unlimited. So the human desires for goods and services that always exceeds what we can be produced or acquire with available resources. This mismatch between the desire and the resources is central to understanding the economic decisions making. So the budget line, this is a graphical representations that illustrate the combination of two goods or services that a consumer can afford, a consumer can buy, giving their income and the price of the good. So the key feature of the budget line is income constraint. So the slope of the line that represents the opportunity cost of one good in terms of another good, it shows the maximum quantity of good that can be purchased given a fixed income or prevailing price. At the same time, we having a choices, the consumer choices that points on the budget line represents the combination of goods and the consumer's income that exhausts the consumer's income fully or use the income consumer's income fully. So the points inside the budget line indicate the combinations that are affordable but do not use up all the available income. So that's called inefficient. While points outside the budget line is called unaffordable or unreachable. So the attainable and unattainable combinations, simply you can divide if any points under the budget line that is attainable but inefficient, if any point above the budget line that is unattainable. On the budget line, the points will be attainable and efficient. So we will having a trade-offs and we will having an opportunity, because the trade-off arises because individuals and the businesses cannot have everything they want simultaneously due to the limited resources. So the opportunity cost refers to the value to the next best alternative that must be foregone when a choice is made. So we will having a decision making. Every decision involves the weighing the benefits and the cost of alternative choices. Economists use the opportunity cost to evaluate the trade-off and make the decisions that maximize the utility. For example, if a consumer chooses to spend money on a vacations, so the opportunity cost could be the alternative use of that money, such as saving for to buy a laptop, to buy a book, to buy a car, but it's foregone. If we can have a look on consumers budget line, as I have just explained the budget line, uh, so any combination of goods inside the budget line that can be purchased, but that combination of good uh, is not representative of maximum that could be purchased. And since the below budget line represents the goods that can be purchased, any point outside to the right here, that is unattainable. That is, uh, I mean, that's not achievable, that's not accessible within the limited within the available income. So therefore it cannot be purchased. So a budget line clearly illustrates how much of goods must be sacrificed to get more of another good or opportunity cost. So if we can say if income increases, the budget line will shift to the right to show that now more books and the DVDs can be purchased. We have a data here, we have number of unit of DVDs and we have a unit of books. And we have a total number of income that is $120. So just imagine if you spend all of your income to purchase a DVDs, so you have a total $120. If you are going to spend all to buy the DVDs, you can buy maximum 6 DVDs, but that time you cannot buy any book. So it means you will buy a 0 book, but you can buy a 6 DVDs. This is a possible combination. But if you have to acquire, if you have to buy some number of books, so you have to give up some DVDs. So if you are going to buy 2 books, you have to give up 1 DVD because the price of 1 DVD is $1.20 and the price of 1 book is $10. So you will spend $20 to buy 2 books, but you have to give up 1 DVD. That is an opportunity cost. That's a trade-off that you are going to buy a book and you have to give up a DVD. Move on to the last point. If you are spending all your money to buy books, so you can buy maximum 12 books because each book has a price of $10. So maximum you can buy 12 and all your money will be finished. That time you are not able to buy any DVD. So you will having a 0 DVD, but this is also possible combination. So that's a trade-off. If you will increase the quantity of the number of books, you will have to give up the number of DVDs. If you will increase the number of DVDs, you have to give up the number of books because you have to make the choices within available limit of your income, and your income is $120. Society's economizing problem. So there are 4 categories of economic resources. It's a land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial ability, which are essential component in production of goods and services and foundational to understanding the economic system. Land, land refers to all the natural resources used in production process. It includes not only the physical land itself, but also resources like minerals, water, forest, and energy resources such as oil and natural gas. All will be considered as a land. Meanwhile, the labor encompasses the physical and the mental efforts of individuals engaging in the production of goods and services. It includes both skilled and unskilled workers across various industries and sectors. So we will having a key factors: human capital like skills, knowledge, and expertise acquired through the education, training, and experience contribute to the human capital, enhancing the productivity and economic output. We will having a wage and compensation. So labor earn the wages and salaries as compensation for their contributions to the productions. Next, we have a capital. So the capital refers to the goods producing and used in the production process to create other goods and services. It includes the physical capital such as machinery, equipment, and buildings, and financial capital such as money and investment. The key characteristics of capital includes the productivity enhancement. So the capital goods are used to increase the efficiency and output of labor or other resources. It can be an investment as well. The process of acquiring the capital goods through investment supports the economic growth and development. And lastly, we have entrepreneurial ability. Entrepreneurial ability involves the initiatives, innovations, and risk-taking capabilities of individuals who organize the other 3 factors of production: land, labor, and capital, to create goods and services. So the key features of entrepreneurial ability, that's innovation, risk bearing, or it can be initiating the process, all will be their key features. If we talk about in detail about the entrepreneurial, so the role of the entrepreneurial in the economy, that focusing on their unique contribution and characteristics that drive the innovation, economic growth, and development. So employing a factor of productions, entrepreneurs play a vital role in economy by organizing and employing the factor of productions, land, labor, and capital to create goods and services. So we having a resource allocation. So entrepreneurs identify the opportunities and allocate the resources efficiently to maximize the productivity and achieve the business objectives. They will having a coordinations, so they will coordinate the efforts of workers, the manage capital investments, and utilize the natural resources effectively to meet the market demand. They are taking the initiatives. So the entrepreneurs are the one who known for their proactive approach to identifying and pursuing the business opportunity. The key element of taking includes like spotting the opportunities, seizing the opportunities. They are making the strategic business decisions. Entrepreneurs are possible for making the strategic decisions that guide the directions and growth of their ventures. So, like market entry, they are deciding when and how to enter into the new market based on the market research, competitive analysis, and the growth projections. Product development, determining which product or services to offer, refining the product features, and adapting offering to changing the consumer preferences. They are innovating. So innovating is a hallmark of entrepreneurial activity involving the development of new ideas, new technologies, products, and the business models. So they having a creativity, being fresh perspective, and create a solutions to existing challenges and opportunities. And lastly, a risk taking a risk taker. Entrepreneurship inherently involves taking the risk, including the financial, market, and operational risks. So we can say there are risk assessments. Entrepreneurs assess the potential risk and rewards associated with the business decisions. So they are analyzing the probability of success against the potential loss. So risk management in implementing the strategies to mitigate the risks such as diversifying investment, securing the finance, and adopting to changing the market conditions. If we are talking about its integration and economic impact, entrepreneurs contribute significantly to the economic development by fostering innovation, creating jobs, and driving the productivity gains. Their ventures stimulates competitions, enhance the consumer choices, and contribute to the overall economic dynamics and resilience. The production possibility model. The production possibility, normally it's called PPF, illustrates the different combination of two goods that an economy can produce under specific conditions. So the production possibility frontier is a graphical representation that shows the maximum output combination of two goods an economy can produce given its resources and technology. So we having here some key features. The first is two good economy. The production possibilities simplify the analysis by focusing on producing of only two goods, typically consumer goods and the capital goods. So the consumer goods is such as the food, the clothing, the ultimately the consumer are consuming, and the capital goods such as machinery and infrastructure that will use to produce further goods. So we can just divide all these goods into two categories, the consumer goods and producer goods. So the resources, we having fixed resources. The model assumes that the quantity and the quality of the resources like land, labor, and capital available for the productions remain fixed or limited while we are analyzing. This constraint reflects the scarcity of the resources in the real world. And fixed technology, this model also assumes a fixed level of technology, meaning the method and the efficiency of productions do not change over the period considered for the analysis. So the technological advancements are not factored into the initial model. And the next is full employment. The production possibility frontier also assumes the full employment of the resources, meaning all the available resources, all the land, all the capital, all the labor are fully utilized to produce goods and services within a country. This assumption allows the model to focus on trade-offs between different combination of the output. And lastly, when we talk about the economic efficiency, so the points on the production possibility curve that represents the efficient utilization of the resources, where the economy is producing at its maximum potential output. So the points inside the curve indicate the underutilization of the resources, or it's called inefficiency, while points outside to the right of the to the curve are unattainable given the current resources constraints. So we will again having an opportunity cost. So the production possibility frontier demonstrate the concept of opportunity cost, which refers to the cost of foregoing the next best alternative when making a decision. As the economy moves from one point to another point along the production possibility curve, the opportunity cost arises as more of one good is produced at the expense of producing less of the other product. Let me try to understand this production possibility through the table, and then later on we will draw the diagram as well. So the production possibility table that outline the different combination of pizza and rewards that an economy can produce. Here the pizza is representing the consumer goods and rewards are representing the industrial goods. So the each point in the table represent a specific allocation of the resources between the two goods. Let's suppose the point A. That's point A is representing the maximum of rewards. At point A on the production possibility table, the economy can produce 100,000 rewards. This point represents the full utilization of resources for rewards production, indicating that all available resources are allocated to manufacturing rewards, with none of the factor of production is left to produce the pizzas. If we are moving from point A to point B, that shows the trade-off and opportunity cost. Moving to point B from A, the economy reallocate some resources from reward productions to the pizza production. As a result, the economy can produce 100,000 pizza. However, to achieve this increase in pizza productions, the economy must sacrifice some rewards. So this trade-off demonstrates the concept of opportunity cost. If you want to produce one good, you have to give up the other one. And if we are moving onward to the point E, let's suppose, as the economy moves from point B towards the point E in the production possibility table, it continues to reallocate the more resources from reward productions to the pizza production. This results in an increase in quantity of pizza produced, but at the expense of producing fewer rewards or less rewards at every move. The opportunity cost of producing additional pizza is illustrated by decreasing in the production of the reward. So the concept of opportunity cost is central to understanding the production possibility frontier. It refers to the cost of foregoing the next best alternative when a decision is made. In this case, the economy increased the pizza production, moving from point A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E. I mean point B towards the point E. It experiencing diminishing returns in terms of reward production. So the opportunity cost is more pizzas is measured by the decrease in reward productions. So the economy forgoes some rewards to produce more pizzas. So if we talk about the implications, its economic implications or the practical implications, the production possibility frontier helps us to analyze the resources allocation, decision, and trade-off in production. It illustrates the limits imposed by the scarce resources and fixed technology, as well as the potential for economic growth through technological advancement and increase in the resource availability. Here we have the graph of the production possibility curve. The production possibility curve, as we discussed, explore its implication for economic efficiency, that's a resource allocation, and the concept of attainable versus unattainable production combinations. So the production possibility curve, that is a graphical representations that shows the maximum combination of two goods. In our example, that's the pizza and the rewards that economy can produce given its resources and technologies, assuming full utilization of resources and constant technology. So here we have some points that we need to understand. The first is efficiency. Efficiency at points on the curve. Like we have point A, point B, point C, D, and E. On x-axis, we have taken the number of pizzas, and on y-axis, we have taken the industrial rewards. So any point along the blue production possibility line that represents the production combination where the economy is fully utilizing all its resources and technology. This implies that the economy is operating at maximum efficiency in terms of both pizza and reward production. So here, what are the attainable combinations? The points inside the production possibility curve represents the combination of pizza and rewards that are attainable, but not maximizing the use of resources. This indicates that the economy has idle resources, or resources are not being utilized to their fullest potential. That's why it's called attainable but inefficient. So when the economy operates inside a production possibility curve, it suggests that there are opportunities to increase the production of both goods without sacrificing the production of either, by reallocating the resources or improving the resource utilization. The economy could move towards the production boundary, achieving the higher level of output for both goods. So unattainable combinations such as we have here point W. So points beyond the production possibility curve to the right represents the combination of pizza and rewards that cannot be currently produced with the economy's existing resources and technology. These combinations are unattainable in the current state and indicate the need for economic growth through the technological advancement, increase in resources, or improvement in efficiency. So if we compare this production possibility curve with our budget line, both looks similar to the budget line in consumer theory, which shows the maximum combination of two goods a consumer can buy given their budget constraint. However, the production possibility curve illustrates the maximum combination of two goods an economy can produce using their available resources. So that's a basic similarity. The law increasing opportunity cost. So the law of increasing opportunity cost. The law of increasing opportunity cost states that an economy produces more of a particular good, the opportunity cost of producing that good increases. This occurs because resources are not equally suited to producing all type of goods. So that's why we call it resource specialization. Initially, when an economy reallocates the resources from producing one good to another good, it tends to use the resources that are not best suited for the additional output of the chosen good. So as the production increases, however, the resources less suited to the production of the additional unit must be used, leading to the higher opportunity cost. For example, just consider an economy that can produce both pizza and rewards. If it initially reallocates resources from reward productions to pizza production, it may use the idle or underutilized resources, resulting in a relatively low opportunity cost. However, as it continues to allocate more resources to pizza production and moving the resources from reward productions to pizza production, it may need to reallocate the resources that are increasingly better suited for producing rewards. thereby increasing the opportunity cost of producing more pizzas. So the production possibility curve, the law of increasing opportunity cost graphically. That's why it represents a concave shape. So the production possibility is typically a concave that bow toward the origin. It's outward to the origin. This shape reflects the law of increasing opportunity cost. Initially, as the economy reallocates the resources from producing one good to another good, the opportunity cost is relatively reallocates resources from producing one good to another. And that time the opportunity cost was relatively low. However, as more of a good is produced, moving along the curve, the resources that are less efficient in producing that good must be utilized, causing the opportunity cost to rise. And if we talk about its trade-offs, so the economic decisions make involves the evaluating the trade-offs between competing uses of the resources. So the production possibility curve illustrates these trade-offs by showing that to produce more of one good, society must sacrifice some production of another good. So understanding this law of increasing the opportunity cost and the shape of the production possibility curve help us to analyze the production decisions, the resource allocation, and the economic growth prospects. It informs the strategic planning or policy formulation and efficiency improvement in various sectors of the economy. This is very interesting and very simple diagram. We discuss multiple times about the marginal cost and the marginal benefit analysis. So the marginal analysis involves examining the additional benefits, the marginal benefit and the additional cost, that's the marginal cost associated with producing or consuming one more unit of goods or services. So let's suppose in this our example, we have a quantity of pizza and quantity of, and we have a marginal benefit and marginal cost to producing that pizza. The red curve that is representing the marginal cost and the blue curve is representing the marginal benefit. So the marginal benefit, this refers the additional benefit or satisfactions gained from producing or consuming one more unit of the good. In the context of pizza production, it could be the additional revenue generated from selling one more pizza or additional utility or satisfactions derived from the consuming one more pizza. On the other hand, the marginal cost refers to the additional cost incurred from producing or consuming one more unit of the good. For pizza production, in our example, it includes the cost such as the additional ingredients, the extra labor, or overhead costs associated with making one more pizza. So how the decision will be made? What will be the optimal output? That's similar to how individuals make the decisions based on the comparing marginal benefit and marginal cost. The economy decides how to produce pizza based on this comparison. So the economy seeks to produce pizza up to the point where the marginal benefit equals to the marginal cost. This is because producing beyond this point would means that the cost of producing an additional pizza exceeds the benefit derived from its marginal, leading to the inefficiency. For example, if we are producing the first pizza, which generate $1.15 in revenue, that's a marginal benefit, let's suppose. But the marginal cost producing the first pizza is $5. So the net benefit, marginal benefit minus marginal cost, that is $10. Suggest it is a beneficial to produce more pizzas. So if we, however, if we producing another pizza, let's suppose the third pizza. So the third pizza only yields $5 in revenue, but the cost is $15. So the net benefit is negative. It's a loss. So that suggests it would be inefficient to produce that pizza. So the best option or best optimal choice to produce the pizza is 2, because at that time the marginal benefit is 10 and the marginal cost is 10. Both are equal. So the equilibrium to produce the pizza is at the quantity 2. So in the context of the entire economy, the decisions about the pizza productions are aggregated across all the products. So the economy as a whole considers the total marginal benefit and the total marginal cost across all the producers to determine the optimal level of pizza productions that maximize economic welfare. The current table is just showing a growing economy, an increase in the supplies of the resources, or improvement in resources quality, and or technological advance moves the production possibility curve outward or to the right, allowing the economy to have a larger quantity of both type of goods. If we can see in our current table, where our points are A dash, B dash, C dash, E, D dash, and E dash, is showing a more quantity of the pizzas instead of previous. That's showing economy have a more resources or better resources or more improved resources to produce more goods and services. Look, look at this diagram. So in this case, the PPC illustrate the maximum combination of two goods that an economy can produce given its current resource and technology. So the increase, if we can see the upper diagram, the production possibility curve is shifted upward. So it's showing from A, instead of A, it's showing A dash, instead of B, it's showing B dash. So that is a increase in the production, increase in the output of the country. When the economy experiences an increase in the quantity or quality of its resources, such as labor, capital, or land, and the natural resources, it can produce more goods and services, such as labor. Increase in the labor force through the population growth, maybe immigration, or improved education and training programs. So the quantity of the labor or the quality of the workforce both can increase the output of the economy. Or the capital, investment in machinery, in equipment, or in infrastructure that enhance the productivity and efficiency in the production process. So the production can be increased. Natural resources might be discoveries of the new resources or improvement in extraction technologies that expand the resource availability. For example, if some countries is a oil rich countries, so the way they are drilling the oil today, it's might different at the time of invention 50 years back or 70 years back. So over the time, the technology, the drilling technology, the extraction technology is improved, so their capacity to produce or to drill the oil is increased, so that can lead the more output. So improvement in resource quality, enhancement in quality of the resources, such as an advancement in technologies, skills, trainings, and organizational practices contribute to the higher productivity levels. That can also lead to increase more output. Technological advancement as well. Technological progress plays a crucial role in pushing the production possibility curve outward. It enables the new production methods, product innovations, and efficiency gains that enhance the overall economic productivity as well. So that can be possible through the research and the development, adoption of innovation, benefit of an outward shift of the production possibility curves. So all these are the factors that can increase the production possibility curve. The present choices and the future possibilities. The concept of present goods versus the future goods and how the economy decisions along the production possibility curves today shapes its economic growth prospects in the future. So the present goods. These are the goods and services produced and consumed in current time period. They directly fulfill the immediate need and wants of the consumers and businesses. For example, food, clothing, electronics, the entertainments. So the most goods purchased and utilized daily fall into this category. And meanwhile, the future goods that's are known as a capital goods or investment goods. These are goods produced today that enhance the economy's ability to produce more and better goods in the future. They do not provide the immediate satisfaction or need or want, but contribute to the future economic growth and prosperity. For example, machinery, equipment, factories, infrastructure, roads, capabilities, efficiencies, education, investments in human capital through the education and training programs that enhance the skills and knowledge of the workforce, research and development activities aimed to developing a new technologies, innovations, scientific advancement that drives the future productivity gains. So if you are the countries has to decide how much they have to produce the consumer present goods and how much they have to produce the future goods. And if we talk about the economic growth and the production possibility curve, again, that's a choice allocation. So the position on the production possibility curve where an economy chooses to produce today determine its allocation between present goods and the future goods. If an economy focus more on producing future goods, like investing in capital, education, and research and development, its position itself for higher future economic growth. And if we talk about the trade-offs, producing more future goods requires sacrificing some producing of present goods in short term. So this trade-off reflects the opportunity cost of allocating resources away from immediating consumption towards long-term investment and future activities. International trade. International trade enables countries to specialize in production of goods which they produce more efficiently compared to their counterpart, other countries. With international trade, the resources are allocated more efficiently, and it is essentially is the equivalent of an increase in resources. Now, a country cannot only use its own resources, but it can also take advantages of the foreign resources through the trade. This leads to rightward shift of the production possibility curve. Like, for example, if a country is producing a product A and he having an advantage of producing product A, but meanwhile the counterpart, the other country is having an advantage to produce a product B. So the both country will produce where they have a specialized and they can do the trade for the goods where they are not specialized. So they can increase their consumption by producing a less output for those goods, and their production possibility curve can be shifted or rightward. With this last topic, we come to the end to our lecture. So in wrapping up this recorded lecture, we have delved into the foundational economic concepts, exploring how we manage the scarce resources uh, and make the decisions under constraints. We have we have gone through the evaluation of economic theories, the practical applications like budget lines, the production possibility curves, and examine the key drives and measurement of economic growths. By addressing the common misconceptions, we have sharpened our critical thinking skills. I hope this lecture has laid a robust foundations for your ongoing exploration of microeconomics. Your engagement is invaluable. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share more for enlightening content. Thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to our next session together, inshallah. Till that, thank you.